Good morning, everyone. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. Just wanted to make sure the audio was working. All right. For those of you who were with me for the webinar last night, thanks for joining. And for those of you who are not, no problem either. But let's do a quick review of stocks from yesterday. Now, it looks like on my list here, there are a few stocks that are missing that we saw yesterday, but no worries. Let's go over some of them, and then we'll just have to look for what's moving pre-market. So just a quick recap. But like I said, this is not a complete recap because something happened to the list that I saved yesterday. I have some of the names there, but not all of them. All right. So first up is Bed Bath and Beyond. So let's talk about that. So Bed Bath and Beyond, as we can see, opens here lower than where it closed the previous session, goes down, then turns around and goes back up. Now, as you guys know, this is something that I prefer. I like it when a stock is first moving down, then turns around, starts moving up. That's always good if it's a stock that's recently been moving. So basically, it's the stock probing lower to see, how far down there might be people willing to sell. And of course, more importantly, you find out where the strongest buyers start to come in. And that was somewhere around here. And they turned around and basically just went straight up. Now, this was actually one of the stocks that I hadn't really been watching closely at the open, but of course, we've been watching the stock for a while. It's been on our general watch list for quite some time. And a number of you in the room point this out that the stock was starting to move. So we went back to look at it, and sure enough, so that was around right here when you guys, I know at least two of you started pointing it out. And then I looked at it too. Looks fairly good. So that was a nice move there. And a brief pause here, a quick pullback, and then finally the last part of the run. At that point, we reached the peak of the move, and then you have a sharp reversal, which would be exploitable on the short side as well, by the way. So for those of you who are looking for a nice stock that it jumped and moved a little too quickly to the upside, as you can see, it was well above the VWAP channel. So therefore, this is usually the ideal place to look for a short. Okay, when something is really stretched thinner over the top of the channel, just like looking for a reversal long when you have something that's deep below the VWAP channel. Those are both great places to look for reversals. So there was a short selling opportunity there. Then after that, not really much else. It did look like right here it was in the middle of an attempted rebound. Normally I would say this might be one, but looking at it in context of time, it didn't look like this was going to be a breakout. But this one here definitely did, but it didn't go anywhere. Just kind of came back to the VWAP, back up, and then just drifted off into the sunset for the rest of the day. So not much there. All right. Next up. Sorry. Let's see what we got. All right, MGOL started off today looking like it might do something good. That's it right there, right? So, in context, you have this huge amount of movement over here. This is a new stock. It's a recent IPO, so it hasn't been in existence for very long. So when we first identified that it was over here, during the period where it's trading like this. Then you had this very prolonged sell-off. Good morning, Gene. Good to see you. Good morning, John. You had this prolonged sell-off and then jump there. And then after that, on the 17th, we had a nice run up. Now, this run up here doesn't look that impressive, I know, because you're looking at this part over here. But if you zoom in, okay, at the opening of the day, there was a pretty good jump there. That's what got our attention. Pretty nice run. Went from about 543 up to about 640 and then dramatically sold off. So a very brief period of opportunity, either long or short, but then that was about it. Didn't do much after that. So this was a pre-market mover that got our attention. This one was actually good, CYAD. Okay. I forgot to mention this in the webinar yesterday. So CYAD, this is the classic example of a pre-market mover that turned out to move after the opening bell. So pre-market, it was active. Then at the open, at first it sold off briefly, no big deal, and then turned around and quickly went up. So it had a quick period of no movement, but didn't really sell off. And then finally, the buyers kicked in here, taking the stock, let's say from the break of the high from about $1.34 up to about $2.49. Then after that, just went sideways, started to sell off, turned around, started to come back. But that was it. So nice opportunity there for those of you who may have taken advantage of that. My favorite probably was, besides BBBY, was Upstart. BBBY was my top performer, in my opinion, yesterday as far as what it offered. Now here we've got Upstart. So if you look here, this is the opening of the day right there. So it was trading on the lower end of the VWAP, and then after a while transitions back over. So wouldn't be that noticeable until you get to about here. And then after that, you had a brief pullback and then a nice run. So assuming you didn't catch this part of the move, but you caught it after the pullback, you probably would have been in somewhere around here. And that's where it topped out. So about $1 per share higher. Then a very dramatic sell-off. Remember, as I mentioned, once you get extremely outside the VWAP range, the channel, there's a tendency for stocks to reverse sharply. So this here was a very exploitable move and a very obvious one if you're looking for a short sell. So therefore, that was definitely exploitable, taking it eventually all the way to the bottom. But it was this part of the move I would say was most exploitable, as well as that part, those two parts of the movement. And then after that, it did attempt to break out over here, and the breakout lasted for a little bit. So you went from 1724 up to 1748, not much of a move. And then after that, just gradually drifted lower, and that was it for today, at least for that stock. Now, Mara was looking like it wanted to go up, and then it reversed. This kind of followed what was happening in the overall market at the time. So you had a pretty awkward move up. It did look like it was trying to go somewhere, but ultimately it was in the short direction that most of the opportunity was in. So after trading fairly awkwardly above the top of the channel, then turns around, starts to sell off. So I wouldn't say this was a standout opportunity. There was good movement, but wasn't like the best performer yesterday. Let's see, what else do we have? Newegg was on the list, but it sold off mostly. So let's look at that really quick. This one has been a great performer recently. But yesterday, I wouldn't say it had much on the upside opportunity. On the downside, it did. So let's find that open. It was right. It's kind of hard to find right there. So it already had sold off the previous. This was on the 13th, and then basically reopened right here, and then sold off right away. So pretty much all you had there was a possible short sell. Didn't really go that far, so I would say for the most part. Good morning, Rick. This was a dud yesterday. Didn't really do much. Probably the best pump and dump yesterday, something that was up pre-market and then sold off, was DCFC. So here it was, pre-market. We found this one. Started today moving both up and down, but eventually just got into a protracted downtrend. So for short sellers, if you were looking for something that was fading away, this was definitely one. So basically, by the time you got to about here, it looked like it was pretty much on a downtrend. So from 197 all the way down without much reserve down to about 162. So not massive move. Percentage wise, it's a good move, but other than that, that was it. There were a lot of stocks that were moving yesterday, but as I was prepping for the webinar, I didn't actually take note of all the ones that we saw. So there we go. So that's what we got so far today, or yesterday, I meant to say. So let's look at what's moving pre-market. See what we got there. Okay. So, all right, MGOL is active. I'll come back to it later. Okay, this was one that I did see yesterday, and I forgot about this one. ATXI. This did show up yesterday on a number of the scans I was looking at, um, but it wasn't one of the symbols that we were discussing much. So we'll see. Where's the open? That was the open. Okay. So there's the open right here, and no, it was just a webinar for people interested in joining the program, Chris. Yesterday, that's what I was referring to. So some people in here today are probably from that webinar. So here's the open yesterday. Very nice move up, right? Then quick sell off. It bottoms out at the bottom of the VWAP channel and just gradually turns the corner, starts to come back. And then after that, moves away to the upside and then has one final pullback there before it makes a bigger run. And then from there, that was basically it. So it was a good amount of opportunity there. For those of you who've been using some of the tools that I recommended to find stocks, I'm sure you saw this stock on your radar. So hopefully you were able to take advantage of that. If you're not, no problem. But this one is active pre-market as well, so it will be on our pre-market watch list for today. So ATXI. All right, let's see what we got next. All right, CYAD is somewhat active pre-market, enough that we probably should look at it. So let me see what we got. CYAD. All right, currently trading 1.4 million shares, only a 0.56% change, but it was active yesterday, so I think it's worth looking at again. So we will keep that on our watch list again for today. Also, let me type in ATXI or CYAD. Okay. Next, let's see. Sorry, one second. Eight. Um, We'll continue to watch BBBY. It has been unusually active recently, so let's keep that one on the radar. Bed Bath and Beyond. Okay, so BBBY, we'll keep an eye on that as well. As well. Oh, wait a minute. I had the wrong stats on that previous. Sorry, I was looking at the QQQ on accident. 4.21% for CYAD. Let's see, ATXI currently 1.8 million shares. Sorry, and BBBY currently at 1.7 million shares. All right. So next up, okay, that's a New York stock, so not that one. Let's Let's take a look at let's see, TCBP. There it is, right there. It's currently up 19%. Fairly active pre-market, so we'll add that to our list as well. That was one that we were looking at yesterday, so we'll add that again today. Hmm. All right, so it's everything. Not a lot there for for this morning, pre-market at least. Only the four that I just mentioned. So let me just put these in the chat. Oh, sorry, it didn't format the way I thought it would. All right, but those are the four symbols. Let's see. Okay. All right, so I don't see anything else pre-market. Let me just look at this list to see what's trading some volume. Right, there's Tesla again. Now trading at 136, up 3.74% overnight. Now, my opinion on Tesla is the same. Most of you in the room, as we go over in the coaching room, I think should avoid Tesla just based on the results I've seen recently. Nothing wrong with Tesla. It's just I'm not seeing as many people making good money off of it. So very active stock, but if it's not translating into money in, in the bank, then don't trade it. Right. So if you're doing well in Tesla, keep doing well. If you're not, avoid it. Um, some I guess it's not everyone's got a good sense of when to get in and out. Good morning, Jade. I looked at mRNA. Didn't really. I mean, I saw it, but um, what was the news there? Oh, sorry, I was thinking about something else. Sorry, I wasn't looking at Moderna. Oh, phase three. Yeah, yeah. So Moderna will be on our list as well. Yep, agreed. So that's on our radar as well. Good one there. All right. Um, so right now I'm scanning for stuff, looking through the watch list just to see if anything's got some good volume pre-market. Not really seeing a lot. Yeah, not a lot here that has strong volume. BBBY we already have. DCFC we're already looking at. Um, MGOL. Let me check this one out really fast. It's only down 5%. Yeah, this one probably won't be much today, but we'll see for MGOL. So that's it for that. Let's find out what the trading day is going to look like as far as news. So this morning well, we already had, excuse me, not we're going to, we did have core PPI came in as expected, core retail sales worse than expected, PPI came in worse than expected, retail sales came in worse than expected. So once again, these should be positives for the market because any bad news is good news, any good news is bad news. So let's see, we have FOMC member Harker speaking in the afternoon, Beige Book. According to this, not expected to have much of an impact. 10 o'clock, we got business inventories, NAHB Housing Market Index. So we kind of have a trickle of news throughout the day, so should mean that there will be some significant volatility in the overall market, but whether or not that's going to translate into a bullish or bearish day, can't really say. DocuSign pre-market doesn't look like much, Lee, but we'll see. I mean, it's up a little bit, but nothing unusual, I guess. So we'll see if that becomes something important. I'm just looking for anything that is unusually active, and so far DocuSign is not. All right, the Nasdaq right now is up from where it was yesterday at the close. Got you. Just looking for something that looks fairly active pre-market. Doesn't It's not doing much, so doesn't mean it won't do anything. It just means it's not falling into the realm of what I'm looking for. There will be tons of stocks that look the same as DocuSign, so it is what it is. Yeah. So it doesn't mean it won't do anything. Just means that um, won't be something that I'll focus on since it's looking like too many other stocks. So SPY is up as well. The Dow is up. Russell is up. All right. So far, the market seems to agree with that theory that bad news is good news. Now we'll see what happens at the open. But as of right now, it just looks like we've got some pre-market bullishness in the indexes. All right, jumping to the software, Madison software. Let me just see what we got. All right. All right, so I'm just going to see if there are any new symbols that I haven't looked at before. I do see two right off the bat. And we know BIOR. This one we know. This one I don't. So let's take a look at these really fast. So CINC. Basically, just going to look at the chart first. That does not look interesting. So let's see. That actually does look interesting. Looks like this was a SPAC. Based on the chart, it appears to be a SPAC merger or something. So let's see. Okay. Looks like there might be something going on here. Um, this one, no, I'll skip that one. There's not enough going on. Maybe later, but not enough going on as far as trading. All right, let's check this guy out. Okay. Um, some decent activity right now. Um, not much going on here. Mm, well, maybe this one. I don't think we need to watch it right now, but I'll add it to the general list. I don't think there's any reason to watch it today, but I'll add that one in. Was it? Oh, so EYPT. Sorry, EYPT. All right, so just added that to our general list, judging by the way it's trading as far as the momentum to the upside. We know Fulcrum. Yeah, that should already be on our list, but just make sure. Yeah, it's already there. Okay. All right, so that's already on our list. Do we know AMRN? This one I don't recognize. KRUS. Let's see. Um, hmm, not a cheap stock, not a lot of volume of trading recently, but this is actually interesting. Strong institutional buying pattern. So that means that there must be something going on. Okay, has a decent amount of data. Doesn't have a lot of volume of trading, however, and the price is kind of not on the higher side, not expensive. So I don't think that one's worth looking at. RVNC, let's see. Okay. Okay, that's a good number. Strong increase in institutional. Okay. I'll add this just because it's fairly active. RVNC. I'll add that to our list. Okay. Not a stock we're watching for the open, just something to look at later. Hmm. NASDAQ. Hmm. It doesn't look like this trades that often, but it shows 1.6 million, 1.6 million shares average. So I guess it just doesn't do much pre-market. No idea. Um, FUV. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I mean it's worth watching. It has the volume down a lot. What was the reason? Must have been public offering. Okay, all right, that's reasonable. Let's add that to our list. FUV. All right, so I do need to jump into the coaching session. So I'll depart here in just a second. Now, for those of you who are not in the coaching room, be sure to go to fundertrade.com. If you're watching this video, if you're not part of the coaching room, if you are, just log in there. I'll be logging in just a second. Data, not a lot of volume pre-market. 14,799 shares. So far, Data's traded 14,799 shares pre-market. So not enough that we want to take a look at that at the open, or target it at the open, but maybe it does something. It's on our list anyway, so we'll see. All right, folks, I'll see you in the coaching room in just a second.